Turn now to Capitol Hill, where for the first time, Jack Smith testified publicly on his two investigations into President Trump. One on alleged election interference, the other on alleged mishandling of classified documents. The former special counsel defended his probe, saying, quote, "Nobody is above the law."
President Trump was charged because the evidence established that he willfully broke the law, the very laws he took an oath to uphold.
CBS News Justice correspondent Scott MacFarlane joins me now. Scott, this went on all day. There were, I guess, predictable partisan clashes about what Jack Smith did or didn't do.
Very predictable.
Republicans appeared inordinately interested in the tolling records on phones that Republicans had in the House and Senate. Democrats very curious about the underlying questions dealing with election interference. But Jack Smith could not talk very much about the classified documents case. First, tell our audience why.
He's limited by a court order right now of speaking publicly about the classified records case in Florida because there's still some legal issues to iron out there. You'll recall that case was dismissed in July 2024 by a judge appointed by Trump who said Jack Smith wasn't lawfully appointed, so the case had to go. They were appealing that, and that was stopped when Trump won re-election. There's still some issues to iron out there, so he couldn't talk about it.
There's a report he has.
He has a sealed report
that the Trump Justice Department is trying to keep suppressed. Is that correct?
In fact, the president and the administration just filed in court trying to keep that thing from coming out. Now, that's not a permanent restriction on Jack Smith, but it was relevant today.
Interesting. What did we learn, if anything, about the election interference case, what Jack Smith thought he had, and some of the questions he got skeptically or supportively?
I filled a notebook. Let me just tell you top line. Nothing we didn't really know already about the case, but here's what I could tell you with certainty. This was a cathartic moment for any number of critics of the president who don't think Jack Smith had his day in court and wanted to hear him explain what he had and what he was going to bring to a jury. Jack Smith said among those things was overwhelming evidence, so much evidence it was difficult to contain it all and focus it all, but evidence, he says, that would have convinced a jury to convict Donald Trump of election interference. What's more, he said that Donald Trump was far and away the most responsible person for January 6th and the most responsible person for a conspiracy far and wide to overturn an American election.
I heard some Republicans questioning Jack Smith why he didn't indict other co-conspirators, as if that was a sort of weakness in his case.
Republicans picked up on that. Why was it only President Trump, and why was it on the eve of an election? Jack Smith.
The inference there, it was political.
That's right. And Jack Smith rebutted those criticisms. There was a back and forth that was extended through the course of this hearing over those phone records you mentioned. There was phone toll data, which means records were seized or searched that show where calls were made and to whom they were made, not the content of the calls. Jack Smith did secure that for a number of Republican lawmakers who were believed to be targeted by Trump and his allies to help with the scheme to install fake electors and stop the election from being certified. I think what Jack Smith was trying to argue is that was following Department of Justice policy, and that's the thing a trained investigator would necessarily do.
And Jack Smith said one of the reasons he was curious about those phone calls was because Rudy Giuliani, the night of January 6th, was still trying to call lawmakers to enlist them in efforts to block the certification of the electoral votes.
That's been the distinctive thing about Jack Smith's case from the start. His argument was a unique one, that Trump didn't incite an insurrection, according to Jack Smith's charges. Trump used the insurrection as a tool of a scheme to still continue to press those Republican lawmakers after the vote had been stopped to flip and try to stop the certification. It's been a unique argument, and Jack Smith had a chance to make it today. And I think one thing you can guarantee, Major, as congressional hearings always are, it was unfocused. People will clip out different segments and shoot them out. There wasn't a whole lot of news there.
But there's something on the public record today that wasn't there yesterday. Scott MacFarlane, thank you very much.